All right, ready to dive into something extraordinary. Today, we're headed to San Miguel de Allende. This city has been all over the travel blogs and magazines lately, and for good reason.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're taking a cue from travel vlogger Israel Plata and his video, San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, World's Best Small City.
Yeah, and the title isn't just hype.
Right,
San Miguel de Allende is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. I mean, that alone is huge.
for sure.
And then on top of that, it was voted the world's best small city in 2021.
Wow, that's impressive. A double whammy. So we know it's got those charming cobblestone streets and a vibrant art scene, but what else makes San Miguel so special?
Well, the location is a huge plus. Imagine this. One day you're exploring the bustling streets of Mexico City, and the next you're sipping a margarita under a San Miguel sunset. It's just a 3-hour drive from the capital and only an hour from Querétaro.
So you could easily pop over for a weekend getaway.
Exactly. It's perfect for a quick escape from the city.
Okay, location checked. But what about the people? What's the vibe like in San Miguel?
You might be surprised to learn that around 20% of San Miguel's population are expats.
Wow, really?
Yeah, primarily from the U.S. and Canada.
That's a significant number. It must really shape the city's character.
It definitely does. And speaking of a welcoming atmosphere, the video highlights something super important for any traveler, especially solo travelers.
Okay, tell me more.
San Miguel de Allende is considered remarkably safe.
That's amazing. That peace of mind is so valuable when you're in a new place. I know when I travel, feeling safe lets me relax and enjoy the experience so much more.
Absolutely. And that sense of security is probably a big reason why it's so popular with expats looking to, maybe settle down somewhere new.
Makes sense. But let's be real for a second. Paradise usually comes with a price tag.
Unfortunately, that's true.
So is San Miguel de Allende still affordable, or has the, influx of expats and tourists pushed prices up?
The video does mention that the cost of living in San Miguel has definitely gone up. I mean, it's not the budget-friendly hidden gem it might have been a few years ago, but, along with that increase in cost comes, well, a higher quality of life,
Okay, I see.
better infrastructure,
Yeah.
and like we've been talking about, a flourishing art and culture scene, which is attracting even more attention.
So it's a bit of a trade-off.
It is. It's a complex situation.
For sure. Speaking of the art scene, the video describes it as artsy and open-minded. What's the art scene really like on the ground?
Picture this. You're strolling along those beautiful cobblestone streets, you turn a corner, and there's a vibrant art gallery, and then you keep walking and bump into another one, and another.
Oh, wow.
There are over 100 art galleries in San Miguel. That's incredible for a small city.
That's amazing. I'd love to just wander around and soak it all in.
And it's not just galleries. San Miguel also hosts amazing art festivals throughout the year, so there's this constant buzz of creative energy.
That sounds so cool. And speaking of soaking things in, what about the food scene? The video specifically mentioned rooftop dining with amazing views, which honestly sounds like a dream come true.
Rooftop dining in San Miguel is something special.
Yeah.
Imagine you're enjoying some delicious chilaquiles while the sun sets over those charming rooftops and church bell towers.
Okay, now you're making me hungry and I suddenly need to book a flight. Everything about San Miguel just sounds visually stunning.
Oh, it is. And speaking of stunning visuals, we can't forget about San Miguel de Allende's most iconic landmark,
I know what you're going to say.
La Parroquia, the San Miguel Arcángel, that beautiful parish church.
With those gorgeous pink spires, it's like the picture that pops into my head when I think of San Miguel.
Right. And it's not just a pretty facade, it's got a ton of history behind it. Construction began all the way back in 1709,
Wow, that's a long time ago.
but it wasn't actually finished until the late 19th century. So if you think about that span of time, it really shows how the city's architectural style has evolved. There's such dedication to craftsmanship.
It's like a living timeline of the city's history.
You got it. And it really captures that mix of old world charm and modern energy that defines San Miguel.
So if someone was planning a trip, when would you recommend they visit? I know the video mentioned April being a good time. What makes it so special?
Well, beyond the pleasant weather and the sunshine, April in San Miguel has something truly magical.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Picture this. You're walking through the city, and suddenly you're surrounded by vibrant purple blooms.
What?
Yeah, the trees are in full bloom, and it's just breathtaking.
Oh, wow. That sounds like something out of a movie. But let's be realistic. Exploring a new city, especially in the Mexican sunshine, can be tiring.
For sure.
Are there any parks or green spaces in San Miguel where visitors can kind of catch their breath?
That's a good question. The video actually points out that parks are a little scarce in San Miguel de Allende.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
But there's one notable exception, Benito Juarez Park.
Okay.
It's a little oasis of green where you can relax, escape the city buzz,
Sounds lovely.
just chill out under the shade of the trees, maybe do a little people watching.
It sounds perfect for a midday break, recharging before diving back into those vibrant streets.
Exactly. And I think because it's one of the few parks, it's all the more valuable.
Absolutely. I guess it highlights how important those pockets of tranquility are, even in a city that's all about exploration.
That's a good point.
So far, we've uncovered a city that's visually stunning, historically rich, and full of culture. No wonder people are choosing to call San Miguel de Allende home. But I'm sure there's even more to uncover.
Oh, there definitely is. We've only just scratched the surface. Like any place experiencing this kind of growth, San Miguel de Allende faces unique challenges.
That's true. In our next segment, we'll dive into those challenges and what the future might hold for this captivating city. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive on San Miguel de Allende. We've been talking about all the great things, the beauty, the safety, the culture. But like any place that's growing so quickly, it's not without its issues.
Yeah, there's always two sides to every story.
Exactly.
It's kind of like that saying, more money, more problems, right?
Yeah.
But I guess in this case, it's more like more popularity, more complexities. We touched on the rising cost of living earlier, and I'm curious about the impact that has on the locals.
Yeah, that's a really important point. The video does mention that San Miguel de Allende is becoming, well, pretty expensive, especially compared to other places in Mexico.
Right.
And that brings up concerns about, can the people who've lived there for generations still afford to live there?
It's a tough situation because on the one hand, you have the influx of expats and tourists, which brings money into the local economy.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it drives up prices. And it makes it hard for locals to afford basic necessities like housing. And sometimes it can even push people out of their own communities.
It's a delicate balancing act, for sure.
Yeah,
And it really highlights the need for, I think, responsible tourism,
absolutely.
mindful relocation. It's about, finding ways to support those local businesses.
For sure.
Engage with the community in a genuine way. Make sure that, the benefits of this growth are shared.
Yeah, it's not just about taking pretty pictures for Instagram, right?
Exactly.
It's about understanding the impact we have on the places we visit.
Totally. And it's about appreciating the things that make San Miguel so unique.
Huh?
Beyond just how it looks.
Right.
The video talks about how walkable it is, the relaxed pace, the sense of community. These are things that really appeal to people who are looking for a different lifestyle.
Yeah, it's like the idea of slowing down,
Yeah,
savoring those simple pleasures, making genuine connections.
for sure. It's something that can be hard to find in our, super fast-paced digital world.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another thing that makes San Miguel so special, the artistic spirit. We've talked about all those galleries and festivals.
Yeah.
But it's more than just the visual arts, right? There's this creative energy that you can feel everywhere you go.
Oh, definitely.
It's in the music, the food, the way people dress. It's like creativity is just woven into the fabric of everyday life.
Exactly. And that attracts a certain type of person.
Yeah.
Artists, writers, musicians.
Right.
People who are drawn to beauty, inspiration, and they create this community that fuels each other's passion.
It's like a magnet for creative souls.
It is.
And that brings a richness and diversity to the city that you just wouldn't find in other places.
Totally. And those connections extend beyond just the arts, too. Remember, 20% of the population are expats from all over the world.
Yeah.
And that creates such an amazing mix of cultures and perspectives.
It really makes you realize that San Miguel de Allende is a global city.
It is.
A place where people from all walks of life come together. And that's reflected in the food, too.
Oh, yeah. The culinary scene in San Miguel is incredible.
Yeah.
It's this fusion of flavors and influences from all over the world.
I bet.
It's not just traditional Mexican food, although that's obviously a highlight.
Of course.
But you can find dishes from everywhere. It really reflects the diverse people who live there and visit.
It sounds like a culinary adventure.
It is. And let's not forget about those rooftop dining experiences with the amazing views.
Oh, yeah. The perfect way to end a day of exploring.
Sitting there, enjoying amazing food, watching the sunset over the city.
Sounds magical.
It's those kinds of moments, the stunning visuals, the shared experiences. They create memories that stay with you.
So we've talked about what makes San Miguel so alluring.
Yeah.
The beauty, the welcoming atmosphere, the culture. But we've also explored some of the well, more complicated
Yeah,
aspect.
the other
Yep.
side of the coin.
The rising cost of living, the impact tourism has on the community.
Right.
It's a good reminder that even paradise has its challenges. And it's really up to us as travelers and global citizens to think about those challenges and how we approach them.
Exactly.
And that brings us to the heart of our deep dive.
Hmm.
What does all of this mean for you, the listener?
That's the question, isn't it?
Welcome back to our deep dive into San Miguel de Allende. Wow, we've really uncovered a lot, haven't we?
We have.
From those iconic pink church towers to the bustling art scene to rooftop dining, it's been quite a journey.
Yeah, I think we're starting to get a really good sense of what this city's all about.
Definitely. And it's more than just a pretty picture.
Absolutely.
Mm.
San Miguel de Allende is a real place, with its own unique story, its own culture.
And its own challenges, too.
Exactly. We've talked about all the things that make it so appealing, but it's important to remember that no place is perfect.
Right. I mean, we've talked about the beautiful architecture and the safety and the vibrant culture.
Yeah. But we've also touched on things like the rising cost of living and the impact of all that tourism.
And the importance of being responsible travelers.
Exactly. I think it's that duality that makes San Miguel de Allende so interesting. It's a place of contrasts.
Where old world charm meets modern amenities,
Aye.
where traditional Mexican culture blends with influences from all over the world.
Yeah, and where you can find that slower pace of life, but also experience the energy of a city that's growing really fast.
It really is a microcosm of the world, isn't it? So many places are trying to find that balance between preserving their heritage and embracing progress.
That's so true. And that's what I think makes this deep dive so important.
It's not just about learning about one specific city.
Right.
It's about starting a bigger conversation.
Yeah, about responsible travel, the impacts of globalization, and, the choices we all make every day.
So as we wrap up our exploration of San Miguel de Allende, what are some key takeaways for our listeners? What should they be thinking about?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's about awareness, understanding that even those picture-perfect destinations have their own set of complex issues.
And recognizing that we as visitors, we have an impact.
Absolutely. It's about doing your research, choosing to support local businesses, and engaging with the community in a respectful way.
Being mindful of our footprint, so to speak.
Exactly. And I think it's also important to remember what makes a place truly special.
Likewise.
Things like that sense of community, the slower pace of life, the connection to history and culture.
Those are the things that make a trip memorable. Those are the things you carry with you.
For sure. So wherever your next adventure takes you, whether it's San Miguel de Allende or somewhere else entirely, remember to travel with an open mind. Be curious.
And be respectful.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe this deep dive has inspired you to discover a new place, or maybe to see a familiar place in a new light.
And that's what it's all about, right?
It is.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into San Miguel de Allende. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.